So we're making the outside nut now. And this guy, I'm going to bore through a little over an inch. So we're gonna drill an inch. We're gonna work our way up as usual. There was ½ inch. Working up to 1 inch on the drill bit. Now we're boring it out. Next up, we're going to hollow out the center part that's just going to push on the bearing. We actually don't have to go all the way out, but we're going to, because we just want to push on the outside of the bearing. That's it for the inside boring. So I'm just going to chamfer these a little bit. And then we got to do some outside. There we go. Just clean that up a little bit. We've done the inside, now we're working on the outside here. So this is the overall diameter, and now we need to remove a section that is 0.525, and we need to take that down to 1.745. Going to do some thread relief at the beginning. Now we're threading. That was my first pass. Just to check with the thread gauge, although it was like a 10,000th depth of cut, but your first one does very little just in general. It looks good. Next pass, doing 10,000 steps straight in. Seeing as how this is easy machining material, I'm just going for it, doing 10,000 passes. After this one, I'll go down to 5,000ths. Finally, holy cow. So here's the final fit, and it's actually a really good one, considering I was going 5,000ths at a shot. So I got the dimensions wrong on this part. So what I kept doing is just going deeper and deeper because I was too big. And since the thread per inch was fixed, you just basically create a new thread deeper because it cuts off the top of the side, the thread to the neck, the left of it as you go deeper, and just creates a new one. And this is a really nice fit. This should work perfectly. All right, so we just, yeah, boy, good size match there. Holy cow, that's dead on. All right. So we got the size right. All right, so we're just gonna part this guy off. Got a nice big hole in the middle, so shouldn't have to go too deep. I always lock my Z-axis travel or longitudinal travel when I'm doing this. in. Okay, next up, we got the shaft here. We're going to clean up the outside, but we also need to bore it to fit one of these guys. And so this was actually designed to fit over a live center before. And the new one, it needs to fit inside this guy. These are much more complicated to make. If you don't have this conical section inside, it'll be much easier to make new ones, which we have to do. As a matter of fact, this one's for 1.7 millimeters, and we need to do 1.3 and 1.5, I think. These are medical needles of some kind, with the needle tip being a separate part that has to be welded on. So this holds the shaft, and then you weld the needle on. And this needs to rotate freely because it's held by the needle tip. So we need to bore this out to fit this fairly closely and just clean up the outside edge. Typical, we're going to drill out as much material as possible. So I'm starting with the center drill, and we'll work our way up. Makes beautiful chips. 3/4 inch. Oh, and I scratched the thing I did not want to scratch. Son of a gun. That's where the bearings ride. Son of a Mickey. Picked up a burr and was not tight enough. Now it's going in like butter. All right, that's 3/4. It's a real bummer it's spun in the chuck like that. 1 inch. That one went smoothly. The rest is going to get bored out. I decided not to go to the 1 1/4 inch drill bits. The amount of force involved was starting to get excessive. I was worried it was going to slip in the chuck again. I'm already going to have to try and clean that up a little bit. I think we ended up with a nice fit here. A piston fit. Love it. So I probably need a little more slop because I don't know how accurate the rest of these are dimension-wise, but should be very close. So I'm going to manually sand a little bit out. It's looser, but it's still a good piston fit. Alrighty, that's probably good enough. Now I just need to remove some material off the end here because this is longer than it needs to be. So I'd like a little bit of the outside material, a little bit of this inside piece to be exposed. So we're going to go back a little ways here. I think this will be good. That'll still leave plenty of room to grab it on. A little bit fast. Very nice finish though. There was quite a bit of scoring on the shaft. Fortunately, the part where the scoring is not where the bearings are. So one of the bearings is going to be all the way back here. Here's where the scoring is. The other bearing is going to be all the way over here with a spacer in between. So we lucked out. Even I can get lucky once in a while. Here's the central shaft finished. Everything else we have to do is on the milling machine, so we're going to head over there next. All right, so we got this guy over here in the mill. We just need to drill and tap for 3 set screws. So we've got it in a 6-sided block, so we can do 3 sides. It's about 1 1/4. Very nice. Just got to rinse and repeat 2 more times. So all there is to that is to loosen the jack, which already was somewhat loose. Take this guy. You want to rotate 1, 2, and then the front of this. I had roughly lined up there. Come back with the jack, raise it up, and we're done. Got to deburr the inside here, which if when the drill bit's going to break through, you relax pressure a little bit, it doesn't have as much of a ridge inside. So that's a trick I learned a while ago. It still does a little bit, but better. Last major piece of this is the nut that tightens the bearing with the preload. And I don't want it to be able to loosen itself. So what I need to do is first I need to put some flats in it so I can get a wrench on it. Then I'm going to put a set screw in one side. And then I'm going to slit it halfway across. And I've got it screwed onto a sacrificial arbor right now. And what's going to happen is I'm going to take a slitting saw and slit it right down the middle. And then when I tighten the set screw, it'll pull the threads apart top and bottom and make it so it won't move. It's an easy way to make a locking nut if you don't have a lot of room. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to take equal amounts of material off both sides. Oh, we're still in back here for my last operation. Had a concern about that. Just ruined my beautiful finish. So maybe I should have used some Loctite. If it loosens again, I'm going to. Instead, I'm going to try and plunge from the top and just remove tiny amounts of material. Here's a 7/8 wrench. I don't think we're ever going to have to crank on it very much, but that's a good fit, just a little tiny bit of slop. So this preload nut, because I put these flats on here where I did, if I thought about it a little more carefully, now I'd be twisting by the part that had been slit in half, and I don't know how I feel about that. It's not a ton of torque, but it might still move anyways. So I'm going to try Loctite as setting my preload set on it, and hopefully that'll hold the bearings in place. I'll use some removable Loctite because the bearings don't have to be very tight. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things we don't want. We're willing to accept, the customer's willing to accept a little bit of slop in favor of very loose bearings that spin very freely. So I think we're going to try that, and if it doesn't work, I can always come back and slit it after because I'm a little concerned about strength. So I was going to slit it like all the way in half back to here, about halfway through, and then put a set screw on one side to bend that up a little bit to lock the threads. I still can do that after if it doesn't work. All right, here we are for the test fit. So we've got the set screws in there, brass tipped on them so that they don't score the tool. So first goes on this guy. And I could fit an O-ring if I wanted to make it oil tight, because I was thinking about filling this up halfway with oil. But the other option I could do would be to put some Teflon tape on this guy. So that's another option. Let's try it this way, see how it works. So these are tapered bearings. So you notice one side, they're meant to push this way because the balls can't push through, but I could push it back out this way. So this side goes out because I want it to push on that lip there. There we go. And the spacer. And the other one. It's going to be pushed from this side. And then I've got my preload nut. I didn't put anything on this to tighten this guy up. I was just going to see if I get a wrench to work for that guy. I think I'd rather have Teflon tape. Yeah, it's still loose. The gasket is too big. I had a feeling it would be. I just happened to have an O-ring that was sort of close. Thought I'd give it a try. I could also machine a seat into this guy, but I don't think I'm going to. So I'm going to be futzing with the preload a little bit. There's a 7/8. I just wanted to find out roughly what I need, and then I can put some Loctite in there and Loctite it in place. There we go. That's not quite tight enough. Okay, I made the preload a little tighter. There we go. That's free, but not quite as free as they want, so I want a little bit looser than that. I knew it was going to be a lot of back and forth. I'm going to futz with it a little bit and I'll bring you right back. Okay, I think I found my magic set point. So I'm going to preload this and put some Loctite on there so it doesn't loosen itself up. And then I'm going to add some Teflon tape to the threads on this guy so that if I want to fill it up and through here halfway with some light oil, I can do that. So we're going to try a little bit of this thread locker blue on just one side of the threads. It's removable. That was a lot more than I wanted. I got to get a rag. I have some of this fairly thick thread locking tape designed for stainless steel. It's thicker than normal. So we're going to put one loop around the threads that'll engage here, and that should seal it from oil leaking. All right, so here's how the parts all go together. This guy spins freely. This is inserted in there, and then you tighten the set screws to hold it in place, or you don't, because actually I made it fit perfectly, so there's enough friction that it'll just stay. Then you take one of these pieces, maybe it's a cannula, see the little tip comes off, you preload that in here, which would then feed on top of this guy, and then this little tip would be placed right here, and that would be held by a collet on the other side, and the collet rotates, so this needs to be able to rotate freely, all of this, in order to weld around the seam around this guy. And that's it. And then when you're done, you end up with a part like this where you can barely see the weld, if at all. Pretty impressive. You know, see it's hollow stainless steel tubing. I don't know if you can see that. Anyways, interesting project, learned a ton. Thanks for watching. Hope you find it useful. Hope to see you next time.